Imagine serving your country for 20 years, carrying the American flag through war zones, folding it beside fallen brothers. Now imagine your HOA threatening to fine you $200 a week because that same flag ruins the neighborhood aesthetic. This happened to Leonard Briggs, a 62-year-old retired Marine. And what happened next proved that some battles are worth fighting, even at home. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. Do you know a veteran who sacrificed everything for this country? Someone who served so we could sleep safely at night? If that's you or someone you love, drop a comment right now, because this story is for every person who's ever worn a uniform. Leonard Briggs was a retired Marine sergeant, 23 years of service, 2 tours overseas. The kind of man who doesn't talk much about what he saw or what he did, but whose eyes carry the weight of memories that never quite fade. Every single morning, without fail, Leonard walked out to his front yard at sunrise and raised the American flag, not carelessly, not casually, with the precision and reverence that only someone who's carried that flag into battle can understand. He'd unfold it carefully, attach it to the pole, and raise it slowly while standing at attention. Sometimes neighbors would see him saluting as it reached the top. For Leonard, that flag wasn't decoration. It wasn't about curb appeal or patriotic aesthetics. It was memory. It was honor. It was the faces of brothers and sisters who never made it home. It was every funeral where he'd stood in dress blues, folding that same flag into a triangle and handing it to a widow or a mother whose world had just shattered. He'd mounted the flagpole according to federal flag code. Proper height, proper placement, done with the respect it deserved. His modest home in a quiet Tampa subdivision wasn't much, but that flag meant everything. For 40 years, Leonard honored his country every single sunrise. Then one Monday morning, someone told him he had to stop. Leonard walked out to his garage that Monday and found an envelope taped to the door. Official letterhead. HOA seal. He opened it confused. Violation notice. Section 7.3, Aesthetic Regulations. Your flagpole is in violation of neighborhood standards. Fine, $200 per week until structure is removed. Leonard read it twice, certain there was a mistake. He'd checked every regulation before installing that pole. He'd followed federal flag code to the letter. This was his right, legally, morally, fundamentally. He called the HOA office and requested a meeting with the board. They scheduled him for Thursday evening. When Leonard walked into that conference room, he brought documentation, federal flag code guidelines, his military discharge papers, photos of the installation showing compliance with every standard. He explained calmly, respectfully, that this wasn't just a flagpole. It was a tribute to his service and to those who'd fallen. Paula Greer, the HOA president, barely looked up from her notes. Mr. Briggs, I appreciate your service, but rules are rules. The flagpole disrupts neighborhood uniformity. Several residents have complained that it draws attention and doesn't match the aesthetic we've worked hard to maintain. Neighborhood uniformity. As if patriotism disrupted anything. As if honoring the fallen was an eyesore. Leonard kept his composure. Ma'am, I served this country for 20 years. This flag is protected under federal law. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm exercising my legal right. Paula's smile was tight, practiced. That's very nice. But it doesn't exempt you from HOA regulations. The fine stands. Remove the pole by next Monday or we'll escalate. Leonard left that meeting knowing exactly where this was headed. 3 days later, another letter arrived. This one wasn't a fine. It was a threat of legal action. They would place a lien on his property, the home he'd paid off with his military pension, the place where he planned to live out his remaining years. The ultimatum was clear. Remove the flag or face court. Leonard Briggs had faced enemy fire. He'd made life-or-death decisions in combat zones. He'd carried wounded Marines to safety under hostile conditions. And now he was supposed to surrender to a homeowners association over the flag he'd fought to defend. He made his decision. He would stand his ground. That evening, Leonard sat on his front porch. He propped his phone up on the railing, the American flag visible behind him in the fading sunlight. He held the HOA letter in his hands and pressed record. He read the letter aloud. Slowly, clearly, let every word land. The fine, the threat, the demand to remove the flag. Then he looked directly into the camera. I fought for this flag. I carried it through deserts and mountains halfway around the world. I stood at attention while it was folded and handed to families whose loved ones gave everything. I've saluted it more times than I can count. And I won't take it down because someone thinks it ruins their view. No anger in his voice. No shouting. Just the unwavering conviction of a man who knew exactly what he stood for. He posted the video that night. Expected maybe his kids would see it. Maybe a few friends from his veteran support group. By morning, it had 50,000 views. By afternoon, national veteran organizations were sharing it. Comments flooded in from active duty service members, fellow Marines, Gold Star families, and civilians who understood that some things are bigger than HOA regulations. Stand strong, Marine. We're with you. This is shameful. You have every right. Don't back down. Then something remarkable happened. Veterans started showing up at Leonard's house. Not organized, not planned. They just came. Pickup trucks pulling into his driveway. Men and women carrying American flags of their own. By Tuesday evening, Leonard's driveway was lined with flags. Dozens of them, standing side by side. A wall of solidarity. Neighbors who'd stayed neutral suddenly placed flags in their own yards. The message was clear. If you come for one veteran's flag, you come for all of them. The story hit local news, then regional, then national outlets picked it up. Would you stand with Leonard? Drop a flag emoji in the comments if you support our veterans and believe some symbols are worth defending. One retired Marine defending one flag became a symbol of principle over bureaucracy, and the country was watching. Thursday afternoon, Leonard was in his garage when he heard car doors closing. He walked outside and saw a black SUV parked at his curb. News crews were setting up cameras, and walking toward him was Mayor Sylvia Grant. Leonard wiped his hands on his jeans, confused. He hadn't asked for this, hadn't expected it. Mr. Briggs? The mayor extended her hand. I'm Sylvia Grant. I'm here to stand with you. She didn't ask for permission, didn't schedule a photo op. She just showed up, looked him in the eye, and said the words he'd been waiting to hear. They walked together to the flagpole. The cameras followed. Neighbors emerged from their homes. Veterans who'd been maintaining their flag vigil straightened their postures. Mayor Grant turned to the cameras and spoke clearly, officially, with the full weight of her office behind her. This is Leonard Briggs, United States Marine Corps, retired. This is his flag, and this is protected by law. She cited Florida's right to display the American Flag Act. She quoted federal protections under the U.S. Flag Code. She referenced state statutes explicitly protecting veterans' rights to display the flag on their property. No HOA regulation supersedes federal law. Mr. Briggs has every legal right to honor his service and his country. This case is closed. The crowd erupted. Applause. Cheers. Veterans saluting. Neighbors wiping tears. Then Mayor Grant did something that would become the defining image of this entire story. She turned to Leonard and saluted him. Leonard, caught off guard, felt muscle memory kick in. His hand went to his forehead. He returned the salute. Two Americans, one who'd fought in uniform, one who fought in government, standing together beside the flag, showing the nation what respect looks like. That photograph would appear in newspapers across the country. That moment would be shared millions of times. Sometimes justice requires someone with power to use it correctly. Within 24 hours, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. The fines? Rescinded. Every single one. The legal threat? Withdrawn. The apology? Public and unconditional. 2 days later, Paula Greer released a statement announcing her resignation as HOA president. Her words were simple. I didn't understand the full extent of the law protecting Mr. Briggs's right to display the flag. More importantly, I didn't understand what that flag meant to him and to the countless others who served. I was wrong, and I'm deeply sorry. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest, and Leonard accepted it. When a reporter asked him about Paula's apology, he said something that surprised everyone. She did the right thing in the end. Admitting you're wrong and stepping aside, that takes courage too. The HOA board didn't stop at an apology. They revised their regulations entirely. New policy: veterans flag displays explicitly exempt from aesthetic restrictions. No fines, no violations, no questions. And Leonard's subdivision? It transformed. Flags appeared everywhere. Not out of spite or rebellion, but out of pride. Neighbors who'd never thought about it before suddenly understood what that symbol meant to the people who defended it. The community started gathering on national holidays. Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Flag Day. They'd meet on Leonard Street, and he'd speak briefly about service and sacrifice. Kids would ask questions. He'd answer them carefully, always age-appropriate, always focus on honor rather than horror. Leonard became an informal community elder. The man who'd been threatened with fines became the neighborhood's conscience. So here's my question for you. Should HOAs have the power to restrict patriotic displays? Should bureaucracy ever override the rights of those who served? Tell us what you think in the comments, because this conversation matters. One flag became dozens. One veteran stand became community unity. And a neighborhood that almost lost its way found its soul again. 6 months later, Leonard still raises that flag every sunrise. But now he's not alone. Neighbors join him sometimes. Coffee in hand, standing quietly as Old Glory rises against the morning sky. School buses slow down so kids can wave. It's become a ritual, not just his, but theirs. Because this story was never just about one flagpole in one yard. It was about something deeper. It was about respect for those who serve. It was about principle over convenience. It was about remembering that some things are worth standing for, even when it costs you. Leonard said it best in an interview months later. I didn't fight for the flag itself. I fought for what it represents. Freedom, including the freedom to honor it, to display it, to remember those who gave everything for it. The mayor's office now hosts an annual Veterans Day ceremony on Leonard Street. His driveway, once threatened with liens and legal action, is now the site of community remembrance. Children place small flags along the sidewalk. Veterans share stories. Families thank them. And Leonard's story? It traveled far beyond Tampa. Letters arrived from across the country. Other veterans facing similar battles with HOAs, with landlords, with bureaucrats who didn't understand that some symbols can be regulated away. You gave me courage to stand up too. Because of you, I didn't back down. Thank you for fighting this battle so we didn't have to. One man's refusal to surrender became permission for countless others to stand tall. His quiet defiance reminded America that the flag still means something. That service still matters. That honor doesn't expire when you take off a uniform. Here's the truth that Leonard's story teaches us. Sometimes standing alone is exactly how movements begin. Leonard didn't have a crowd behind him when he refused to take down that flag. He didn't have the mayor's support or news cameras or viral fame. He just had conviction. And that conviction attracted everyone else who believed the same thing. Some things are worth the fight, even when it costs you, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the easier path is to just comply, stay quiet, and avoid conflict. Veterans sacrifice so we could have freedom, including the freedom to honor them, to fly the flag, to remember that liberty isn't free. So if you know a veteran, thank them, not just today, but every day. And if you see them being disrespected, dismissed, or told their service doesn't matter, stand with them, because they stood for us when it counted most. Hit that like button if you support our veterans and believe they deserve our respect. Subscribe to this channel for more stories of courage, principle, and people who refuse to back down from what's right. Share this video with a veteran in your life. Let them know their service matters. And drop a flag emoji in the comments along with the name of a veteran who inspires you. I want to fill this comment section with the names of heroes, because Leonard Briggs fought for the flag overseas. Then he fought for it at home. And he won both battles, not with weapons, but with unwavering dignity and the courage to stand for what he believed in. The flag still flies on his lawn, every single sunrise, as it always should. Name a veteran who inspires you, backhand index pointing down. Let's honor them together.